President Cyril Ramaphosa saying, of course, that the recent trip to Washington was a success, and the U.S. president using the meeting to amplify discredited claims of a white genocide in South Africa, while Ramaphosa was criticized by some for not forcefully refuting Trump's allegations. His composed demeanor and diplomatic poise has been seen by some as a good move, particularly for what could have taken place behind closed doors. Let's now speak to Dr.Arikana, who is a Pan-Africanist as well as a former African Union ambassador to the U.S. Doctor, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. It's been described by some, including President Ramaphosa, as a successful meeting, while others say it was in fact cringeworthy. How would you describe the encounter in the Oval Office?
Well, I think it was a step in the right direction for President Trump to invite President Ramaphosa to come to the White House to discuss issues to do with trade, first and foremost. The other issues that were discussed pertaining to the genocide, I'm hoping that they were secondary to the primary reason why he went to Washington with his team. On a separate note, I view this trip and the treatment that President Ramaphosa received from the U.S. government as a perfect example and a reminder to the African leaders that this is a new day, that this is a new game, that they need to re-strategize the manner in which diplomacy used to be handled. That game is over. This is a new game and it needs new strategy. The manner in which they were treated is a reminder to the African leaders that before you go to meet with President Trump, with other Western leaders, you better make sure that you have a team that is prepared, a team that knows their game, from the political to the social to the economic to trade. I just feel that the team that was with President Ramaphosa was not prepared for what they received in Washington. They could have done better. They were white people in the team who could have refuted what the information that President Trump had been given. When they showed the photographs of all those crosses along the road, who creates a gravesite along a highway with crosses so close to each other? By virtue of looking at it, that was not a gravesite. And yet, the people who were traveling with President Trump, one opportunity after another, they failed to refute the false information. They failed to protect the president. They failed to clarify the issues of genocide to the American viewers who saw lies being told, misinformation being shared. The people, the team that traveled with President Ramaphosa did not perform well. And if they should have another opportunity to meet with President Trump, we expect them to do better. We expect them to be more prepared. And let this be an example and also something that the other African leaders can look to and say, should we have an opportunity to meet with President Trump, they need to be better prepared. They need to assemble their best negotiators, because for President Trump, it's about negotiations. May the best men win.
I want to get to circle back to what you've just said about being better prepared, and at the same time a message to African leaders in just a moment. But you speak about some of the members in the delegation. They spoke a lot about crime. At the same time, they're calling on the U.S. to expand its investment in South Africa. Does speaking about crime and even the fact that how violent of a society they say we are, does this not deter potential investment into the country?
Absolutely. If you talk about crime, why did they go there to highlight the issues of crime in South Africa? If that was the case, why didn't the team also highlight the issues of crime in the United States of America? Why was that not also discussed? Why is it that we can only highlight crime in Africa and not the crime in the United States of America? There's a lot of crime in the United States, but that was not the reason for the visit. The agenda should have been very clear. There was some digression here where issues that were not part of the agenda were discussed. President Ramaphosa came to the United States to discuss trade and also to justify and refute the false information about genocide in South Africa.
And
we should have
yeah, pardon me, Doctor. When you look at what you say, a new day that requires new strategies, go there well prepared and be able to, state your case. How then do, South Africa, in fact, African leaders begin to do this? And I ask because there is a view that at times they go, to countries like the US with a begging bowl and simply not firm enough, not putting their best foot forward.
What the African needs to realize is that President Trump is about trade. They need to see this as an opportunity. President Trump is saying no more divide and conquer, no more regime change. President Trump is bringing in and ushering in a new era that says, let's trade as equal partners. If African leaders fail to come to the table, understanding that we have a leader who wants to deal and he will negotiate the best deal that he can for his people, and that you need to come to the table with your best and brightest negotiators and also ready to come up with the best deal that you can for your people. This environment has never existed in Africa since colonization. So if we miss the opportunity with President Trump to negotiate for the minerals, the wealth of the countries, for the better benefit and betterment of our people, it is a missed opportunity. President Trump is coming into trade. He is not playing games. He will play the games. He will do whatever he needs to do to get the best deal forward. Are the Africans coming to the table with the same attitude, the attitude that says we are coming with our best and brightest negotiators and we are going to come up ahead and do what is best for our people? And in our particular case, we are talking about beneficiation of our natural resources to an extent that Africa has never been allowed to do before. Yeah. If we go to the United States and we take people who are not going to negotiate well, just like the team that went with President Ramaphosa, then the joke is on us. President Trump is opening the gates for free trade with the Africans. The real question is, are the African leaders ready to go to the negotiating table with President Trump with facts and come up with deals that are equitable, or are they going to the United States with a ball in hand begging for peanuts? I hope not.
And how much of a coordinated, message, if one can use that word, does Africa need to have going to the US? And I ask because you say that it's time to come with facts at the table, make sure that everything you do is going to be benefiting the different countries. We've seen the continent speaking in different voices on a number of times when there would be conflict here, there would be issues there, and we see what appears to be a fragmented approach as far as the continent is concerned. How much more important now to have the continent speaking in a voice that says we are ready, that says we are now going to be having a unified approach that is going to benefit not only our countries, but the continent as a whole?
Well, the continent, first and foremost, they must realize, and I'm going to say it very bluntly, if there are any members of any administration of an African country that are not Pan-Africanist, that don't think like Pan-Africanist, that are not awoken enough, that are still afraid of white people, to the heads of states I say, get rid of them. Because if you send those individuals who are still asleep, who are still colonized, they are the ones who are going to be scared. They're the ones who are going to think whatever deal is brought to us by the West is the deal that we should accept. So to the heads of states, I say, clean your administration. This moment is calling for Pan-Africanism. This moment is calling for leadership that says we have an opportunity for equitable trade with other nations around the world. We have an opportunity to begin to lead without outside interference. If President Trump stays with his agenda of trade and not regime change, this is huge for Africa. Let's not miss this opportunity. Get rid of your government administration members that are not Pan-African, because they will not make good negotiators for you. Realize that this moment is about trade. This moment should have been here decades ago after World War II. But because Europe had destroyed itself, they put in systems to steal from the developing nations, especially Africa, to rescue Europe. There was never an opportunity to treat Africa as equals, to come to the table as equals. President Trump, for the Africans, he is creating that opportunity. So if African leaders miss out on that opportunity and get lost in the bravado, the loss is yours. You owe it to the people. Come to the table. Here is an opportunity to reclaim your natural resources for the benefit of your people. Moving away from divide and conquer and concentrating on trade. This is what we have wanted. We don't want aid, we want trade. Now, when we go to the negotiating table, the question then becomes, Africa, are you ready to put your best foot forward? Africa, have you assembled the best and the brightest negotiators that your country has? Africa, are you ready to beneficiate from your natural resources in a manner that you have never been allowed to do? This is the moment. For me, those two issues, Africa being able to benefit equally from the natural resources, going to the negotiating table on the world stage as equal partners. You see, you have to demand to be equal. But if you go to the negotiating table and you're scared and you are ready to accept peanuts, that's exactly what you're going to get. So this is not about President Trump. President Trump is creating the environment, but now it's up to you to see what you can do with the environment that allows you to negotiate as equals. President Trump is not going to come in and say, well, listen, we're going to be 50-50. No, you have to demand it. He's going to come in and say, I want 90% of your minerals. And if you're stupid enough to accept it, then the joke is on you. President Trump is saying America first. African leaders must all say their countries first. Go to the negotiating table as equals. Second issue that I'm also saying when it comes to President Trump's foreign policy, the second issue of abandoning regime change in Africa, that is huge. Single-handedly, that is what has destroyed African leaders. That is what has made African leaders fail in their abilities to rule effectively. So yes, going to the table as equal partners, and two, abandoning divide and conquer, abandoning regime change. Those are the two biggest wins that I will give to Dr. Trump, and I hope President Trump, and I hope he continues to push the two agendas. And I also hope that the African leaders are going to be prepared for this, for the fight ahead, and for the negotiations that are going to be presented to them.
Yeah, my people, where we're watching from, I greet you good morning, good evening, and good afternoon from where we're watching from. I hope that you're doing good, and if you are not doing good, I pray that you be well and okay. So I will first dive in this video and maybe make a first critical analysis and the commentaries about what has been said there. What is being told here is something that most of Africans' mind could have wanted to speak out, but you know, we cannot all of us come out and speak our views concerning the issues of Africa. But that's why we have some leaders, and that's why we are having some people, the revolutionary leaders, who are standing and speak out our views, because these are the people we believe that they know what is in the ground. They know what is in the ground, they know what the people want, they know the interest of Africans, and that's why they are coming out to criticize anything that comes out from the leaders who are doing things against the will of Africans. So Dr.Arikana, the commentary she has given concerning the America, US, South Africa, America trip of Donald Trump, and Ramaphosa was something that many people, not only the leaders but Africans, condemned it very, very much, because we as Africans, we felt like we were failed. We were failed by the someone who went to represent us, and that's why I passed a comment section whereby many Africans were giving out their views on how Ramaphosa would have represented that meeting, would have represented that trip. That trip was a very best trip. That was a very best trip, and as you know, just like Arikana has said, Donald Trump, first of all, this is a very, very good bargainer. And whatever he says, he speak out just like a joke. But when you know you are not careful about that joke, who is going to get the bad challenges? So Donald Trump was just a beginner, and it's not that he wants the best for Africans, but it's because he wants the benefits from Africans, and that's why you see that he's putting more concerns in South Africa, not just because he loves South Africa. No, he has nothing good to offer to South Africans. That's the fact. What he's trying to do is to make sure that he conquer and benefit at the high percentage of the African resources, and that's why he is more concerned and trying to show out like he care more about South Africans. So he put out several statements and several issues that he was trying to, like, he's demanding, and that's when we felt like our leader, our African leader, Ramaphosa, failed us, because he went there with no courage. First of all, he went there with no courage. He has no many aim, the best agendas, the main agendas, the main issues that he was there. He went there that having in mind that I'm going to put this on table, because that was a meeting that was an international meeting, and the issues were supposed to be put on the table, and everyone discuss his mind, because we as Africans, all we need is we don't need AIDS. Just like Donald Trump decided to cut off the AIDS that were coming to Africa, so the same, we as Africans, we are saying that we no longer want AIDS. We don't need AIDS. All we want is a business. We want a business. We need the deals that is benefiting from both countries. So when these people, when Donald Trump or America come to offer some things in Africa, as per now, we don't have to put that in our mind that those people are coming to offer us, they're coming to deliver maybe some benefits, some help to African countries. All we want is we go to the table just like they did. That's Ramaphosa got very chance. That is a very golden chance that he was supposed to use it very, very good. When he reached that place, he was first. What he has to do at the first, he was to reflect back on how the condition of Africa, and how the Americans have been treating Africa, and how they were exploiting the minerals of Africa, and how they are intimidating the Africans. They don't respect Africans. So he was supposed to go there and put these issues on the table so that they discuss 50-50. You give out your views and I give out my views, so that we can know what to do. How can we solve this? How can we balance this? Because we need the balance. We need the balance. Balance. We need equity. We need equality. We need to balance the agendas and the issues of the people that we are representing. Julius Malema said very well that in that meeting he could have liked to be invited, so that he put out the facts. He defended himself with the facts. He put out the facts in the interest that he know the people from the ground and the people from Africa would have want for them to be. When Donald Trump opened these chances of African-American free trade, this is the opportunity that the African leaders should utilize it and use it very well, without wasting any chance or any time. So during that visit, Donald Trump and Ramaphosa was supposed to accompany with many maybe say I can say the Pan-Africanist who he believes in them, that he believes in them that they could have come with several ideas that could have helped him to defend himself and put his measures, put his agendas on the table so that it can be discussed, so that even if that trip come to an end, whatever they are going to agree there, whatever they are going to make the deals there, it is something that is beneficiary for the continent of Africa, not just for the South Africans, but the continent of South Africa, because we as Africans, we are all fighting for the best. We are all fighting for the best of ourselves, because if we can continue just being like beggars to the foreign countries, our leaders are not depending on themselves. They are not believing in themselves on how they can lead their countries. We are still depending on the foreign policies. We are still depending on the foreign powers, so that they can come and show you on how to lead your countries. They can come and give you more choices on how to do with your properties, with your resources, with the minerals, and that's why they are getting more chances to Africans. So because they know very well that when we don't deal with those people, they cannot lead themselves. They cannot govern themselves. They need us. So that's why they're getting more chances. That it is at a time now we stand and say that this is what we want. It is that time that Africans today know that this is what they have to stand for. And when we do this, we have to depend on ourselves. We have to sit on the table, just like the golden chance the South African president got to sit on the Oval Office. That was a golden chance. He was supposed to put his more agendas on the table so that they can discuss. If we are going to do business, then we have to do 50-50, but not that just the other way around, that things have been working out, that the Africans are the one who are getting even 30%, and the foreigners are getting 70% from their minerals. They are the one who are controlling and putting some more policies in African lands. They're the one who are controlling everything. They're the one who introduced many things in Africa that which they know very well that it limits Africans not to reach in a place that they can eliminate them. They know very well that whenever these people want to do this thing, we have put them some barriers, which in the name of democracies, in the name of so that whenever you want to do something, you find yourself you are not able to do it because you have some agreements that binds you not to do it. And that is the freedom that we are fighting for. That's the freedom, the chain that we are fighting to break it. That's the bond that have been holding us for many years. And so Dr. Arikana, this was a former a former AU ambassador in US. So she knows everything because she has worked with these people for a very long time. So she knows everything that is going on in Western powers. She knows everything. So whenever she comes out to speak out his voice, she is speaking something that she is sure of. She is not just speaking out because she is a Pan-Africanist. No, she is someone who has been in these people, between these people. She has been there for a very long time. She is a politician. She knows everything. So whenever she speaks out something, then we as Africans, we have to listen it. We have to follow it because she might be talking in something that can bring out the fear and everything that the Africans and the black people has been facing, and they are making them not to be just that enough of defending themselves. So we as the African leaders should know that they are the leaders. It doesn't matter where you are, but you are in Africa. You are a leader. You are representing millions of people. The people are depending on you. They have put their faith and hope in you. So whenever you go somewhere and you are going to represent the matters of your country, you should go there knowing that you are carrying many lives in you. Many people are on your backs. They are depending on you. So whatever you are going to say there, you are not going to talk or say anything that is only for you, but for the people that you have left in your country who are depending and have put more concern on you. All they have to believe is that they are believing in you. So whatever you are going to do, you have to know that you are going Either you are going to rescue them, or you are going to bind them forever and ever. So our African leaders, we are here, we are depending on you. So whatever you do, you don't have to fail us, but you have to represent us well. You have to represent us. So this issue of you going there, you are being invited in an international trip, but whatever you're doing, you are saying there is something that we, as the common citizen, we feel like, I wish I could be that guy. This is what I could have said. That's not good, because you are the leader and you know what you want. You know what your people wants. All we need is a leadership, is a best leadership. All we need is the trade, but not the aids and all that they have been trying to come and convince us that they are helping, that all that, you know. It's time for the Africans to stand by themselves and support themselves, because that's why we're here. We're speaking out our views, our points, and our minds. This is Kenneth Explorer. Just tell me what you have in the comment section. Just speak out your views, and maybe we discuss about this, because we're doing this just because we love African. We need the best Africa. So stay tuned until next episode. Until next time, we'll come and speak, react again on the other and something else. But this time, stay tuned and peace out.